Hi everyone, welcome back to Math 11. So in this video I wanted to go over some of the homework questions from section 3.2. Now a lot of people ask me to do some of the questions that are very repetitive, so I'm not going to do every single question because once you know how to do basically two of these types of questions, you should be able to do the rest. So before you attempt these questions, make sure you go through the examples in the textbook, make sure you go through the examples in the notes, because once you know this is a page from the textbook that basically summarizes everything you know for this section. If you know this content here on this page, basically you should be able to do all the questions in the homework. So again, I picked some of the questions that I think are different from each other and that might help you to do the rest of the questions. So again, these are the type of questions you should be able and you have to be able to do for this section. So again, make sure you go through the summary. Make sure you understand when you can use sine law, what you need to know in order to use it, and how you can manipulate it in case you need to do some cross multiplication or if you have to sketch your own diagram. So I'm going to go over parts of question 3, question 2, and question 13. So question 2 says determine the length b to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. So in this case, this is the easiest types of question you might encounter because you have a triangle that's already labeled and it tells you exactly what to find. So you know you have to find, in this case, the missing side. So in this case, you don't have to think about whether you're looking for the angle or the side, right? It tells you exactly what to do. So first thing you want to do is come up with the relationship. So if you're looking for the missing side, you're going to write the side on the top. So you're going to write b on the top and then sine of b on the bottom. So this is what you're going to do. Okay? You're going to look at what else is given in the question. In this case, you're given the angle C and you're given the lowercase side C. That means I'm going to write 27.2 on the top and sine of 43 on the bottom. Again, you need 3 knowns out of the 4 in order to solve this question. So I know sine b even though I wrote b here. So let's replace that with 72 degrees. So we know 3 out of 4, which means we can solve for b. In this case, we have to cross multiply. So all of these questions with sine law, you always have to cross multiply. So in this case, to cross multiply, if you already picked the right type of equation, all you have to do is move the sine 72 to the top. So you're going to move this guy here by multiplying both sides by sine of 72. So what you're going to do is actually multiply by sine of 72 and this side as well. So you're going to have sine of 72 on this side. So on the left side, they'll reduce away. On the right side, you're going to end up multiplying by sine. So then b is going to equal 27.2 times sine of 72 over sine of 43. And then you're just going to use your calculator for this to get the final answer. Again, make sure you check the answers in the back of the textbook so you know you're getting the right answer. If you get the wrong answer, the first thing you have to do is check your algebra, because the most common mistake of these questions is people not cross-multiplying correctly, so they're getting the wrong answer because of that. Or their calculator is not set to degrees. Make sure that your calculator is set to degrees mode, otherwise you will get every question wrong. So again, set it to the right mode, make sure it's in degrees, do 27.2 times sine of 72 degrees, and then divide by sine of 43, and you get 37.9, in this case, centimeters. Okay, so again, double check your answer in the back, make sure it's the right one. So part B says determine the measure of the angle theta to the nearest degree. So now again, it tells you to find theta, so you're looking for the angle. If you're looking for the angle, that means you're going to use the sine on the top and the side length on the bottom. So I'm going to write sine theta on the top, right, and the opposite side on the bottom, which is going to be 37.1 here. Again, the reason we do this is because it will save you a couple of steps cross-multiplying if you pick the right equation. You can still get the right answer if you didn't pick the right one, but it just saves you a couple of steps. So in this case, what else I know? I know angle B, and I know the opposite side to it, which is 29.5, so we're going to write sine of angle B, which is 44 degrees, over the side of 29.5 centimeters. Again, in this case, we're going to cross-multiply by moving this 37.1 to the right. So we're going to do this. This is going to come up. So we get that sine of theta equals 37.1 times sine of 44 over 29.5. Again, make sure you set your calculator to degrees. Now, your final step here is to take the inverse. So theta is not going to equal just this answer. It's going to equal the sine inverse of this answer. So you got to do that step. Make sure you don't forget. So it's going to be sine of all of this, inverse of all of this. That's why you do this step on the calculator, and then you press sine inverse and you get the final answer for the angle. Okay? So in this case, if you type it all on the calculator and you press the inverse, the angle here that you get is 61 degrees. Okay, we have to round to the nearest degree. So that's question number 2. Now question number 3 has, I think, 6 different triangles, but again, there's only 2 types of them, either missing the angle or missing the length. So I will just show you how to do 2 of these. The other 4 are pretty much the same, just follow the same steps. So for question 3a, it says determine the indicated side lengths to the nearest tenth of a unit, and then the angle measured to the nearest degree. So first identify what you're missing here. So this is the side that we're missing. So we asked to find the length in this case in question 3a, which means you're going to pick the sine law equation with the side on the top. So for example, I'm going to write d over sine d equal, in this case, looks like I'm given this angle here. 68, so I'm going to need this side as well. So, or I'm going to use this angle f and this side. So because I don't know this one, I'm going to use actual side f. So this is my lowercase f and this is my lowercase e, right? So I'm going to use f over sine f. Now in this question, if I use sine f, I need to find the angle f. But because you already know 2 of the angles, that's easy because all we have to do is do this, 180 minus angle e minus angle d. So let's say we want to find f is going to equal 180 minus d minus e. So it's going to be 53 and 68. So whenever you have 2 angles, you can always find the third one from just subtraction. So again, 180 minus 53 minus 68 equals to 59 degrees. So this is angle F, which we're going to need in order to find side D, which is the one we need to actually find in the question. So whenever you see 2 inner angles given to you, make sure you find the third one, because chances are you're going to have to use that third one, not one of the other 2. So once you know your F, then you can plug in numbers for this and solve for side D. So D, again, is the unknown here. Sine D is going to be now sine of 53. Side F is 22.5. And sine of angle F is going to be a 59 degrees that we found. Again, cross multiply to find the side D. Basically move the sine 53 to the top on the right side, so D is going to equal 22.5 times sine of 53. Again, make sure it's in degrees. Common mistake, people leaving their calculators in some other mode. Again, all of this you can do on the calculator. So in this case, 22.5 times sine of 53, and then divide by sine of 59 equals to 20.96. Now the question says round to the nearest tenth for the length, so we're going to have to round it to 1 decimal. Now in this case, because we have a 6, we had to round this up to a 10, so we had to carry the 1, so we're going to end up with 21.0 as a rounded answer. Alright, so that's question 2A. So it starts from the diagram. Make sure you label the diagram, make sure you understand which side is which. So remember, it's always the uppercase letter represents the angle, opposite side to it is the lowercase letter, and that's your side length. Alright, so let's take a look at part D. So part D says, again, we're looking for the unknown. The unknown is labeled as theta here, so we're missing the angle theta. So if you're missing the angle theta, you have to have two sides given to you in one other angle. In this case, we're given side lowercase l and lowercase n, and you're given the uppercase L angle. If you're looking for the angle, make sure you start with the sign on the top. If you didn't do that, you can still get the right answer. So for example, let's say I start with the same type of expression with the side length on the top, and I wrote this. I wrote the side L over sine of capital L, right? And then I'm looking at theta here, or the angle N, capital N, which is the same thing. And I'm going to write side lowercase n over side, or angle, sorry, theta, right? So let's say I did that. And this is the unknown. So I left my unknown on the bottom. So it seems like I have to do extra work here, but you still get the right answer, just gonna take you a couple extra steps. So let's plug in the numbers for L is 24.4. Sine L is gonna be sine of 29 degrees. N is 45.2. And then sine theta is the unknown. So notice again that my sine theta is on the bottom here, so I can't just multiply by sine 29 both sides to get sine theta. We need to cross multiply both sides now, so we need to move this guy to the top and basically move this guy there and get rid of the 45.2. So we have two extra steps we had to do. So you're going to cross multiply, you're going to end up with sine theta times 24.4 equal to 45.2 times sine of 29. So as you can see, we have this, but again, the unknown is sine theta. So we still need to get the sine theta by itself before we can actually get theta value. So we have one extra step we had to do here is to divide both sides by 24.4. So remember, whenever you have an equation, which we do here, we have to do whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if you divide this by 24.4, you have to divide by the right side by the same number. So now we have the sine theta by itself. So we have this expression for sine theta on the right. Again, this is not the final step because we're looking for the actual value of the angle theta itself. So we're going to do inverse sine of all of this. So we're going to do 45.2 times sine of 29 over 24.4. So do this on the calculator, then use the second function or shift to get the inverse sine. So again, it's going to be 45.2 times sine of 29 divided by 24.4. I get 0.8980899. I'm going to take the inverse sine of this, and I get theta equal to 63.9. But again, we have to round angles to nearest degree, so I'm going to round this up to 64. So that's question 3D. All right, so again, make sure you check your answers in the textbook once you do the question. If you get the wrong answer, like I said, the most common mistake is either that you cross multiplied wrong or you have your calculator set to the wrong mode. So make sure again it's set to degrees. So the last question here is number 13. So in this case says a bridge has been built across a gorge and Jordan wants to bungee jump from it. So he needs to know the height or the depth of this gorge. So he does know a couple of the angles on the side and he knows the length, but we need to find the height. So how do we find the height? If you knew just this part here, right, just the base of, let's say if you split this into two right angle triangles, if you just know this part, you can just use trig, you can use tangent to find the height. But in this case we don't know that, so we need to know, let's say we'll label this, let's call this A, B, and C. So this is going to be side B, side lowercase a, and this is side lowercase c that we know. So in order to find the height, we need to know either B or A, right? And then use trig to find the height. So you will have to use trigonometry, sine, cosine, or tangent in the end to find the height. But first we need to find, like I said, either side B or side A. So it doesn't matter which one you find. We're going to use first the fact that the angle C is going to equal 180 degrees minus the two angles that are given. So you're going to say C equals to A minus B, or if you plug in the numbers, it's going to be 60 minus 75. So once you know those two, once you know the angle C, you actually might not have to use this side. No, actually you do definitely need to know the angle C because that's the only side that we're given. So we need to know angle C for sure. So let's see, 180 minus 60 minus 75 is 45 degrees. So once you know the angle C, this whole thing is 45, right? Now we can find either side A or side B. So let's find side A. Again, there's no really reason why I picked A, just because. So I'm going to write my expression. So I'm going to write A on the top because I'm looking for the side A. I'm going to write sine A on the bottom, and I know side C, so I'm going to write C on the top, sine C on the bottom. So let's plug in numbers. So angle A is 60, side C is 21.0 meters, and the angle C we found it to be 45, so sine of 45. So find A first. This is going to be, again, cross multiply, which means we're going to have to get rid of the sine 60 on the bottom here. So we're going to multiply this side by sine 60. And this side by sine 60. Sorry, this one doesn't cancel. So we're left with this expression, which is going to be 21.0 times the sine of 60 degrees over sine of 45. Okay. And the A value is going to equal to 21. Now I'm going to keep a few more decimals here because this is not the final step. This is just an intermediate step. Okay, so that's side A. Now I'm going to use this side A and the fact that I know the angle A and basically split this into two parts. So we know this is 75 here. And we found that now the hypotenuse of this is, which the side A is, so it's 25.7196. So now let's do trigonometry here. So if this is the angle of interest, this is going to be my opposite side, this is going to be the adjacent side, and this is the hypotenuse. So if I'm looking for the opposite side H, or the height, I had to relate the given side, which is the hypotenuse, and the opposite, which is going to be sine. So sine of the angle 75 is going to equal the opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so the opposite in this case is the height that we're looking for, and the hypotenuse is the A value that we found, which is again 25.7196, so on. So we're looking for the height, so we're going to have to basically multiply by A both sides to get the H by itself. So we're going to end up with the A times sine of 75 equal H. All right, so let me write the H on the left side, and this is going to equal to A, which again, I would just keep the answer from the previous step, 25.7196 times sine of 75. Okay, so times sine of 75, I get 24.8 meters. So, question 13, the height of this gorge to the bottom of the gorge is 24.8 meters, almost 25 meters long. So Jordan will have to basically figure out how much the bungee cord will stretch under his load and decide how long it should be before attempting to jump from the bridge. Otherwise, it might be too long, he might hit the ground and die. So that's one of the reasons he needs to do these calculations. So this pretty much covers all the possible combinations of questions you can encounter in this section. Again, you need to know your sine law, you need to know how to cross multiply. So the most common mistake, like I said, is in the cross multiplication step, or if you forget to set your calculator to degree mode.